There are players that cannot be replaced, and there are an abundance of players that no one gives a shit about. If you're the WNBA, common sense would dictate that you do everything in your power to protect your star players. You do everything you can to protect your assets. But for some reason, this dump of a league seems to protect anonymous faces over the pretty faces. They protect the players who are injuring the players that people are paying to see.
WNBA in panic. Caitlin Clark's injury just sent the WNBA into full-blown panic. Ratings are collapsing, ticket sales are tanking, and fans are walking away in real time.
Well, many of you have probably been waiting on this, as have I. But the WNBA All-Star Game ratings have come out, and all I could think of right off the bat was 4 little letters. F-A-F-O. F around and find out. You bleep around and find out what this league looks like without Caitlin Clark being involved in your biggest events. Kathy Engelbert, this should be a perfect example of why you need to get your officiating cleaned up, and you need to have a talk with your players in the league. And nobody's asking you to hold Caitlin Clark's hand. Just play fair and stop with the WWE bullshit.
But how did one player's injury bring an entire league to its knees? The truth is shocking, and it's only getting worse. The numbers don't lie. The WNBA All-Star Game ratings are out, and they're a disaster, down 40% compared to last year.
You see, this is exactly what we were talking about. WNBA All-Star ratings are in for 2025, and it is down 40%. 40% from last year. That's bad. That is really bad. We already watched the ticket prices drop by more than 50% because Caitlin Clark was not playing. This is bad news for the WNBA, and this should be a wake-up call. This should be a straight-up wake-up call. With the ticket prices dropping, and now you see the show, the ratings fell tremendously.
This isn't a dip, it's a nosedive. The league's premier event, the showcase of its biggest stars, pulled in fewer viewers than a regular season Indiana Fever game featuring Caitlin Clark. Think about that. The league's crown jewel couldn't outdraw a single Caitlin Clark average night. That's not just concerning, that's catastrophic. For months, critics said Clark's fans weren't real fans, that they were only watching because of hype. But the numbers prove otherwise. The moment she was sidelined, those fans left. And the WNBA is paying the price.
There was plenty of people I saw online who said, yo, Caitlin Clark not playing. Oh, she's hurt and they don't want to call fouls. Okay, I'm not giving them a view. I'm not going to watch. There was plenty of people that boycotted watching this WNBA All-Star game. It was plenty of people. I watched it. That's how I know how trash it was.
The collapse isn't limited to television. It's hitting arenas across the country. Look at the Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky matchup. Before Clark's injury, the cheapest ticket was $86. The day her injury was announced, that same ticket plummeted to $25, a 71% drop overnight.
Last Saturday, the Indiana Felines and the Chicago Bravado played on CBS. How many of you knew that? How many of you guys watched this game? 2 months ago, this matchup would have been the leading story throughout the media. But when you don't have the rivalry, when you don't have the storyline of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, this is just another painfully boring pretend basketball game. Unsurprisingly, the Chicago Bravado got their ass kicked again.
This wasn't a theory, it was cold, hard cash. The so-called Caitlin Clark effect became undeniable. Fans weren't just watching her games, they were paying premium prices to be in the building. Without her, the market evaporated. It gets worse.
This is the reality that the WNBA is looking at if they can't get their heads out of their asses. Or in this case, if they can't get their dildos off the court and back in their pockets. This Caitlin Clark injury it was the final ingredient for the perfect storm. This injury gave the WNBA the data they need to prove that pretend basketball is 100% reliant on one player.
Indiana Fever's local TV viewership has fallen by more than 53% since Clark was sidelined. And the decline isn't isolated to Indiana. The WNBA as a whole is feeling the shockwaves. Fans who once filled arenas and tuned in on TV are disappearing. What was once momentum is now a mass exodus. And here's the kicker. The league itself fueled this crisis. For months, players, media voices, and even league insiders dismissed new fans as fake. They mocked the idea that millions of people were tuning in just for Caitlin Clark. Instead of embracing the new wave, they shut the door. Now those fans are gone, and the league is scrambling to explain why. But this isn't just about one injury. It's about a pattern. Clark's quad strain was only the beginning. Soon after, Angel Reese went down, then Sydney Colson, then Lexi Hull in what looked like a completely avoidable play. Fans are asking, is this just bad luck? Or is it bad officiating? Many believe the refereeing this season has been incompetent at best and dangerous at worst. Missed calls, dirty plays ignored, players left unprotected. Caitlin Clark wasn't just the league's biggest star, she was its greatest investment. Yet she was left exposed, and now the WNBA is dealing with the fallout. And that blame, fans say, falls directly at the feet of Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Her failure to protect stars, enforce consistent officiating, and manage the league's direction has turned a setback into a full-blown crisis. Meanwhile, the league's marketing has completely collapsed. Broadcasters are still running highlight reels of players who aren't even active. Instead of building up secondary stars, they're clinging to ghosts. On social media, the difference is night and day. Just weeks ago, viral clips of Caitlin Clark were everywhere. Now, silence. Engagement is gone. Memes, debates, viral highlights, all vanished. The digital buzz that made the WNBA feel alive has turned into a ghost town. And without cultural relevance, brands won't invest. Without brands, money dries up. And without money, the league's future darkens. Here's where it gets terrifying. The WNBA is now staring at the nightmare scenario, a postseason and a championship that nobody outside hardcore fans even notices. Imagine a trophy being lifted in an empty arena, a moment meant to crown greatness, instead reduced to silence. This is the sports equivalent of a tree falling in an empty forest. Does it even matter if no one is watching? And it doesn't stop there. The league is heading into negotiations for its next media rights deal, a deal that was supposed to bring in $1 billion, a deal fueled by the Caitlin Clark effect. But those dreams just went up in smoke. Networks see the collapse in ratings, they see the empty seats, and they know the league no longer has leverage. What was once a royal flush is now an empty hand. This could cripple the WNBA's growth for the next decade. So where does this leave us? The league gambled that it was bigger than Caitlin Clark. It mocked her fans. It failed to protect its stars. And now it's paying the price. The question is no longer whether the WNBA can survive this season. It's whether fans will ever come back once the trust is broken. Because once that magic is gone, it's almost impossible to rebuild. So what do you think? Did the WNBA gamble too hard on Caitlin Clark's back? Or is this just the wake-up call the league needed? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're still watching, comment Clark injury so I know you're part of this conversation.
Last year, WNBA players were doing everything in their power to get rid of Caitlin Clark. These minimum wage earners, they did not want to be rescued by the Great White Hope. This year, WNBA players have gotten exactly what they wanted. Caitlin Clark has essentially missed the entire season, and the WNBA has suffered the consequences.
Caitlin Clark has finally broken her silence, and what she just revealed in an emotional sit-down with Sue Bird has the entire WNBA buzzing.
But I think that's even been something like me and Steph have always talk about when we go and watch film, and even that New York game where I played really, really well. Obviously scored a lot of points. I think I had 9 assists or 10 assists that game. This just this last game this year. I started the fourth quarter off with 3 turnovers in a row or 2 turnovers in a row, and Steph yanked me, and she was like this is a learning moment. You got to be able to yes, maybe it could have been there. Like, maybe you could have thrown a little bit better of a pass. Maybe they could have caught it. But, like, do we need that in this moment? Like, no.
Right.
And then she subbed me back in. And there was a play where I kind of got a steal, and like we're going in transition, and Kelsey Mitchell just like takes off down the middle of the floor, and so there's like 2 people kind of by her, and I literally like go to grab the ball, and then I like just dribble out, and I like literally just start smiling so big, and I look at Steph, and I like told her after the game,
that better be on film.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't understand how hard it was for me to not throw that.
This isn't just an injury update. This is a raw, unfiltered look at what she's been battling behind the scenes. From painful setbacks to calling out the league itself, Clark's story isn't just about recovery. It's about power, pressure, and the fight to protect the game's brightest star. Caitlin Clark's rookie season was supposed to be her launchpad into superstardom. Instead, it became a stop-and-go grind that tested her physically, mentally, and emotionally.
I know you want to be out there.
Definitely been hard.
Yeah.
Well, like, I'm gonna go to every road game no matter what, like whether I'm playing or not. Like, and it's hard because obviously I do feel this like responsibility of like being out there and playing, and like, not that I like think there's like a fear of any of this ever going away. Like, that doesn't happen when like LeBron or Steph get hurt. Like, they're always going to be there.
No,
like,
he'll be back.
Yeah, exactly.
It all started in the preseason when a left quad strain sidelined her before she even had a chance to find her rhythm.
Caitlin Clark will miss at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Wednesday's game at the Mystics will be the first game she's ever missed, college or pro here.
That injury kept her out from May 28th to June 10th. 5 games gone before her WNBA career had even fully begun. She fought her way back, playing well and feeling confident until the next setback hit. A left groin injury benched her for 4 more regular season games.
Well, unfortunately, Caitlin Clark will miss her second straight game due to a left groin injury. Clark missed last night's game against the Los Angeles Sparks in Cambridge Fieldhouse for the same issue. There's no official word on the severity of the injury, but the team said that they would be taking it day to day. This will be the 7th game Clark has been sidelined for this season.
Plus the Commissioner's Cup final from June 26th to July 5th. And just when she thought the worst was over, disaster struck again. This time, a right groin injury on July 15th.
New this morning, ESPN is reporting that Caitlin Clark has injured her groin for the 2nd time this season. Clark left last night's game in the final minute, holding back tears after grabbing at her leg. She just returned back to WNBA action after missing 9 games for 2 other leg injuries. Despite the apparent injury, Clark racked up 14 points and made 4 of 14 shots.
That was the breaking point. The patience, the optimism, the belief that she could power through, all of it was put to the test. Clark described the mental toll as unlike anything she'd experienced before. In college, she had never missed a single game due to injury, but now she was tossed into game 30 without the benefit of a training camp, forced to trust a body that kept betraying her.
You do want to play. Like, you want to give people something to cheer about or scream about, or, you know, people spend so much time and money and resources to come and watch you play, and it's been cool to like see people continue to show up, and like for my teammates, whether they're like fans of the Fever or just fans of myself, like they're continuing to show up and support. And like,
each comeback carried the same fear. Would it happen again? It wasn't just the physical pain. Clark knew exactly what her absence meant for the WNBA. When she played, the Indiana Fever went 8-5. Without her, they were a flat 9-9. Attendance dipped, TV ratings dropped. A May 17th game against the Chicago Sky pulled in a massive 2.5 million viewers on ABC. Games without Clark? They barely scraped 1.5 million. Sue Bird didn't shy away from the question. How do you manage the patience to recover when you know the league's numbers take a hit without you?
Okay, so viewership and ticket sales are like up across the WNBA, and then like, and they're also, when you don't play, there's a dip, like a substantial dip. So how do you handle, does it impact your patience? You know what I mean? Like, you're coming back from this injury, and you know this, everybody knows this, that when you play that changes.
yeah.
I guess the better question is, how are you like managing it so it doesn't impact your patience?
Clark's answer was revealing. She shared the text her mom sent after her last injury. You've taken so much time for everybody else. You need to take time for yourself now.
I think early on with the first couple injuries, I was like, oh, like I need to get back. Like, but I think Like my mom texted me like after this last injury, and like they know how hard it's been on me, but my mom was like, you know, you've taken so much time for everybody else, like you have to take time for yourself now. So just trying to do that the best I can too.
It was a turning point. For the first time, she made the decision to put her health above the demands of the league, the fans, and even her own competitive instincts. But then came the moment that really set the internet on fire. Sue Bird asked about her sideline coaching while she was injured. Clark smirked and delivered the line that would be replayed 1,000 times. "I'd make a good ref. I wouldn't miss a call."
I feel like I would be a really good ref though from the side.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't miss a call.
Backseat reffing.
It was subtle, sharp, and absolutely devastating to the league's officiating reputation. This wasn't a frustrated rookie venting after a bad night. This was the WNBA's biggest ticket seller calling out the integrity of the game on national platforms.
Sure, there's still hard moments, but like, I don't really care what people say. At the end of the day, like, I'm in a position where there's going to be, you know, criticism, and there's going to be people that love me. Like, that's what happens when you're playing sport at the highest level. Like, that's how it goes for everybody, whether you're a football player, basketball player, baseball player.
The response was immediate. Players from around the league messaged her with support. One veteran said, "You just said out loud what we've been screaming in the locker rooms for years." Hashtags like "Clark was right" and "Fix the whistle" started trending. Fans began tagging her name every time a questionable call happened in other games. Inside the league office, executives were split. Some wanted to pull her aside and tell her to keep opinions in-house. Others warned that silencing her would only backfire. There was another layer to all this, one that made her comments hit even harder. Opponents weren't just playing tough defense against Caitlin Clark, they were targeting her with relentless full-court pressure, trapping her on every possession and using physical contact well beyond what's considered normal. Compared to her college days, where she had more protection, the WNBA was a completely different reality. And it wasn't random. Watch enough tape, and a pattern emerges. Teams were clearly trying to wear her down, possession by possession. Clark admitted that her injuries this year came from a level of pounding she had never faced before. Quad, groin, quad again. Each one a reminder of the physical toll. And it raised an uncomfortable question. Was this just basketball, or a coordinated plan to push the league's biggest draw to the breaking point? When Clark finally stepped back on the court, it wasn't just a game. It was a showdown. The arena buzzed with anticipation. Every whistle, or lack of one, sent ripples through the crowd. Then it happened. Early in the game, she drove hard to the basket, took clear contact, and no foul was called. The fans erupted in boos. Cameras zoomed in on Clark's face, capturing the same smirk from her Sue Bird interview. Only this time, it was aimed directly at the officials. Midway through the second quarter, she drew a foul on a three-point attempt. The whistle blew, and the arena exploded. She glanced at the baseline ref, gave a slow nod, and mouthed something fans would spend hours lip-reading online. By the end of the night, she was just shy of a triple-double, leading the Fever to a win. But the real story wasn't in the box score. It was in the message. Caitlin Clark wasn't afraid of the whistle anymore. That game sparked days of debate. Some analysts claimed she had won, earning more respect from the officials. Others argued the league was doubling down to prove they wouldn't be influenced. Former players weighed in too, some calling her fearless for protecting the game. Others warning that challenging officiating power was risky business. But Clark stayed calm in the spotlight. In her post-game presser, she simply said, "I just play the game. Everyone else can talk about the rest." So what do you think? Should the WNBA step in to protect its stars, or is this just part of the game? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're still watching, type Caitlin Clark injury in the comments.
Why is it an adjacent follow-up? Because, of course, Sophie Cunningham owned J.C. Sheldon from the same game that Marina Mabrey did the massive body slam into Caitlin Clark on. And of course, later in the game, Sophie Cunningham would take her rightful place. She still owns JC. She still owns JC Sheldon. And what's great is she's got a great sense of humor about it, and she's not shy about it. I mean, what are they going to do?
J.C. Sheldon just got hilariously destroyed by Sophie Cunningham again. And this wasn't some quiet behind-the-scenes moment. Sophie went full broadcast mode. She delivered it on the floor. She delivered it to the fans, and then she etched it in ink.
So, lads, did any of you guys just see this? I can't believe I haven't seen this up to now. Like, I don't know when this video is going to come out. Like, I literally just got back from practice. And it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I have no idea. I've got a whole bunch of videos recorded when this one's going to come out. But at the end of the day, this is kind of crazy. This one is kind of crazy. When you get Sophie Cunningham to sign a JC Sheldon rookie card with property of, that is crazy.
But here's the real question. How did a rookie card, a hard foul, and one savage autograph turn Sophie Cunningham into the WNBA's ultimate enforcer, while JC Sheldon became the league's biggest punchline? Let's rewind to the circus of a game that lit the fuse. Caitlin Clark had already been targeted, a face hit by JC Sheldon, followed by Marina Mabry
Target locked,
trucking her like she was auditioning for the NFL. The refs swallowed their whistles, fans were livid, and Clark, the brightest star the league has seen in decades, looked like she was being hunted. Now here's where Sophie Cunningham enters. See, Sophie isn't just another role player. She's grit, swagger, and a teammate who refuses to stand around while opponents take cheap shots.
There was like 45 seconds left. The girl stole the ball, and I was running back, and I was like, we're up. I don't need to foul. And I was like, just let her go. And I was like, all right, like, who cares? Last second, intrusive thoughts. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I like, at first, I just tried to like hold her and like put her, like grab her.
Like,
just let me explain.
Sorry.
I know what it looked like. I got her, but at the very end, and I'm not saying this is what caused it, but she dipped a little bit.
Yeah.
Like but she did dip. And then right when I saw, I was like, oh shit, like my bad. Not really my bad. And then they both came at me. I was like, fuck it. Come.
Instead of filing complaints, she added it to her to-do list. Later in the same game, Sophie delivered her version of justice. Not dirty, not reckless, just firm. When Sheldon went up for a layup, Sophie wrapped her in a bear hug and took her to the floor.
And Sheldon comes up with the steal. Sheldon going coast to coast. And here's we got another breakers here as JC Sheldon goes right after Sophie Cunningham.
Intentional? Absolutely. Dangerous? Not at all. It was the basketball version of "We saw that. Don't try it again." And Fever fans loved it.
And with that, you guys, you can hear it in the video right here. The Indiana Fever fans were chanting, Sophie, Sophie. Sophie's jersey is gonna sell out tonight.
Clark's safety wasn't just Caitlin's problem anymore. Sophie had made it hers. Tempers flared, players scuffled, fans roared. And in that moment, Sophie cemented her reputation. She wasn't going to let anyone target her teammate without consequences. Fast forward to a Fever fan event. Sophie's signing autographs, posing for pictures, chopping it up with the diehards. Then a fan slides over a JC Sheldon rookie card and asks Sophie to sign it. Not just with her name, not with a number. They wanted a statement. Sophie didn't hesitate. She grabbed the pen and wrote across the front, "Property of Sophie Cunningham."
She's the problem. She is the problem.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. And here is the said card. Property of Sophie Cunningham. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
That wasn't a scribble. That was a declaration. And the moment it hit social media, it exploded. Lexi Hull, sitting next to Sophie, dissolved into laughter. Fans lost it. Memes flooded timelines. Headlines dubbed Sophie Black Belt Barbie. And just like that, JC Sheldon went from being known as a top 5 draft pick to being roasted as Sophie's personal property. The bigger meaning. But here's why it mattered. Every great superstar has an enforcer. Wayne Gretzky had one. Michael Jordan had several. Steph Curry has Draymond Green. And now, Caitlin Clark, the most watched player in women's basketball, has Sophie Cunningham. Sophie isn't just a tough body, she's producing. She's torching nets, hitting 15 to 20-point nights, drilling threes like she owns the arc. That's what makes her so dangerous. Enforcer energy is cute. Enforcer energy plus efficiency. That's how you win games people remember. And this wasn't about pettiness. It wasn't about clout. When Sophie signed Property of Sophie Cunningham, it wasn't a joke. It was proportionate. It was a season's worth of targeting Clark finally getting a return address. Fever fans saw it as a line in the sand. Rivals saw it as a warning. And Sophie saw it as her role. Protector by choice, shooter by trade, and now, notary for Caitlin Clark's rivals. J.C. Sheldon, instead of headlines about breakout games or defensive stops, her biggest moment became this, being claimed by Sophie Cunningham. She's the chick that was mean to Caitlin Clark. That's her legacy now, not the stats, not the draft hype, just being on the wrong side of Sophie's pen. And make no mistake, this rivalry isn't over. The next Fever versus Sun matchup, fans are already circling it. Cameras will be ready. Everyone wants to know, will Sheldon try to clap back? And if she does, what will Sophie's response be? Because at this point, every player in the WNBA knows one thing: target Caitlin Clark, and Sophie will make you pay for it. This is why Sophie has become the Fever's second most beloved player behind Clark. She's got edge without ego, swagger without silliness, and the production to back it all up. She's not just a teammate, she's a protector, a culture builder, and a fan favorite. That one autograph was more than ink on cardboard. It was a statement to the entire league. Our star isn't running solo anymore. And if you ask Fever Nation, that's exactly the energy Caitlin Clark deserves at her side. And that's why J.C. Sheldon just got hilariously destroyed by Sophie Cunningham. But now I want to hear from you. Was Sophie's Property of Sophie Cunningham moment in the perfect clapback? Or did it just pour gasoline on the fire? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you're still watching, prove it by commenting Sophie Cunningham. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more Fever Fire, and hit that bell so you never miss the drama.